Well, before you think or say anything, I did not get a new hat. This hat's old too. It's just I don't wear it much. I don't like it. You see this hat here, the brim comes up. It slopes up all the way around. So it puddles. Rains, it puddles, and you put your head down, water just runs off or runs off the back. See here, see, I'll show you this one. See, this hat is probably as old or older than most of you. Okay, she's been around the block. She does work. Say, this is my work hat. It's 40 some years old. And we've had some hydraulic leaks fixing under the combines and so on and so forth. That's right. Helps keep the you can see inside, it leaks through, but it keeps most of the hydraulic fluid off your head. But yeah, it's been around. Got a hole right here, as you can see. There's a hole. That's a canine from the border collie. I blew off my head one day, took off across the pasture. Now he just ran down, chased it down, grabbed it, brought it back to me. So he put a little hole in it, but no big deal. Both are Stetsons. I just like this hat much, much better. Why? The water just runs off it. And it runs off the back. Doesn't go down my neck. Doesn't pull up on top or anything. Runs off, for the most part. Not as well as it used to. Because it's old. Yeah, the new hat just isn't. I call it new, but it's pretty old. Not quite as old as this one, but I just don't care for it. Bought it years and years ago, but I just don't like it. I like a good pair of boots. I'm not taking my boots off. It's like a good pair of boots. Once they're broke in, man, and you buy a good quality pair. There's all kinds out there. Larry Mahans is, I think that's what these are. Larry Mahans, I believe that's what they are. But yeah, so did we get on here to talk about hats? No, we didn't. See, the thing of it is with this hat too. See, it's bowed down. A lot of people are like, "Well, why is it bowed down so low?" Well, when you're in a tractor and the sun's setting, okay, it keeps the sun out of your eyes. I mean, you're doing field work out there and the sun is setting and you're going into the west and it's just, the dust all over everything, dust on the windshield, and this helps keep the sun out of your eyes. So some people are like, oh, I can't see your eyes. Well, that's why. See, a lot of people, they just buy hats because, well, it's like some guy wearing a ball cap. He wears a ball cap everywhere he goes. Is it really functional? Well, some are. Some are functional, sure. Most of them, well, they kind of suck. You know, I mean, they'll keep a lot of dust and chaff and dirt and dust out of your head, off your head, and they got a bill, but not much of one. The guys sit there and they bend them all this way and that way, help keep the sun from the sides. But they're not really. I mean, when the sun's coming down in this way, it helps shade your face. That's good. I get that. But that's about the only thing they're good for. Not real functional. Not really. This helps keep the sun off, the rain, a whole bunch of stuff. Especially when you're walking in and out of buildings. Makes it nice. See, this hat, it's functional. Has a use, got a good purpose. And it suits me fine. Some people may not. They might not like them. Just like this hat. I don't care for it. I mean, look at it. See, all the way around it. See how it blows up? All the way around. Even at the top. Catches water. Not a very good hat. Not very functional. Plus, too, I mean, it's okay. I mean, the sun comes down, but this comes down and keeps like I said, the sun when it's setting out of your eyes. Makes a big difference. There's like a good pair of boots too. You got they serve a purpose. They keep the debris out of your boot, out of your feet, out of your socks and stuff. Doesn't get into the boot, and it keeps the dirt out. So you run around in a pair of tennis shoes with that like screen stuff on it or whatever, so they breathe. Okay, your feet get dirty, and they get stuff in them and sand, fine stuff. It's just like I don't care for them. Plus, step on something, you will find out you don't like that. A good pair of leather boots, leather uppers, leather soles, the whole 9 yards. Pretty tough. I'm not saying you can't put a nail through them, but I have stepped on nails before, and it was the only reason it didn't go through my damn foot is because of the boot, the leather. I'm not saying you can't, because I've seen people step on nails in tennis shoes, and I mean, it's just like effortless to go through. You see, this is like I keep talking about when you want to travel and you travel light, and the things you use are functional. It's like having a good knife. You have a good knife that's functional. Good hard steel, keeps an edge. Something's a little thicker, not a thin knife. You want something that's thicker. Something that'll take some abuse. Something's got a good handle on it, and something that'll keep your hand from sliding over the damn handle onto the blade. And you want a knife that The, the blade doesn't just go into the handle. You want the blade made into the handle. You want it to be part of the handle and riveted on. So it's a solid knife. You want something, like I said, functionality, durable. You see, today we have a lot of people running around, and it's just superficial shit, just junk. Women go out and buy purses, and some buy these tiny little things. I mean, maybe that's all they need. You got kids, you need a duffel bag, Sometimes you need a duffel bag for the husband. But and they go buy stuff that's like made of this like plastic or crap. You know what I'm saying? Not a nice leather solid purse. With good rivets that hold it together, or good double stitching that holds it together. See, most things today are just, it's all about fashion and what looks cool and what looks nice and so on and so forth. Same thing with a lot of these weapons people make today. I am not a plastic polymer gun guy. I am not. I don't like them. I just think they suck. I mean, you grab something, I want to feel it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I want some weight to it. I mean, worst comes to worst, I'm gonna smash your skull in with it. Because it's made of steel. This polymer shit, man. I'm not a fan. Because a lot of people know too that do any shooting, like especially with rifles. Some of these damn stocks on these rifles are flimsy as hell. They're thin. They're man. I wouldn't own one of those pieces of shit for nothing. I mean, the barrel, the the receiver, the bolt, stuff like that, maybe fine, maybe good quality stuff, and it may shoot and it may be accurate. A lot of the CNC stuff today, and the metallurgy may be better than the whole 9 yards. So you may have a real nice piece there, but the stock shit. Go out and buy a good Boyd or something like that. Good custom made, or not even a custom made stock, just a nice good laminate stock or a good wood stock that the thing will fit right into, and you will be so much happier. Not only that, it'll look nicer too. So yeah, you look at a lot of these police today, and I mean they got so much crap on them. I mean, they got all this. They got a vest on top of a tactical vest, a vest, and then they got a tactical vest on top of that with all this crap in it. And then they just got to have their beady pants, with pockets all over with crap stuck in there, and they're just loaded down with crap. Most of them can't maneuver in it and run in it. They're just not very. They're not very nimble. But they got a lot of stuff. It's just kind of like their cars too. They got so much junk in their cars. It's not even practical. It's one of those things where a lot of times the more minimal stuff you have, but good quality stuff you have, and know how to use it, and know how to improvise on other things, goes a long, long way. You say, think about it. Your car breaks down. Fuel pump. I mean, these cars electric fuel pumps in the gas tank. It's like that. To me, that makes like no sense at all. But they put these damn electric pumps in the tank. Goes. Just shuts off. Dead. They've gotten smarter. A lot of times now they put access panels in to access it. But do you carry around the tools to do that and an extra pump? Most people don't. So imagine you was out on a back road somewhere and you had to walk. What you're walking in, is it practical? Is it little flip flops? Are they these stupid heels? You got to think about this. And you're out there, okay? You're out there. You're walking. Some people carry a sidearm, and I believe everyone should. I believe everyone in the country should be. It should be constitutional carry. No permits, no nothing. Everybody carries. Period. But you have to be. With that comes a great responsibility of being proficient and knowing your weapon. Always treated as it's loaded. I mean, I could go through the rules, but the big number one thing is always treat it as it's loaded. Never put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to fire, and never point it at people. You know what I'm saying? Unless that's an intended purpose. Because someone's doing something. Accidents. Cops are stupid. I mean, they're full of themselves, and it's getting worse. That John Byron, I didn't realize it's civil rights attorney guy thing. I didn't realize it, but he was a DOJ. He worked for the Department of Justice, and he investigated this kind of stuff. He knows more about it than anybody, probably. But he's making a lot of money. I mean, you see on his wall, he's got the little silver plaque, YouTube plaque. Then he's got his gold plaque up there, and then you look at his views, and, there's a lot of views on some of this stuff. And he's making more money doing that than he's ever made in his life doing anything, even being a lawyer. So why would he want to take his time and actually teach people things when he could sit there and just make a lot of money by just putting together a video and putting it out there? Oh, I mean, you're bringing attention to things, but these people have no shame. Kind of getting off track. I was talking about being practical with your stuff. And the thing of it is, I was talking about a good fixed blade knife. Got to have good sheath with it. And the thing of it is like I was saying, you're on a back road somewhere, car conks out. You don't see anybody for a while. Probably won't. Depends where you're at. You may have to huff it for who knows how far till you can find a farmhouse or some guy out in the field in a tractor. Another guy come driving down the road, something. So it's kind of nice to have something to keep the sun off your face, and sunglasses are always a good thing. I just don't care for them because when you're working, they usually slip down your, face. You're always pushing them up, pushing them up, pushing them up. They suck. Okay. I mean, I only have reading glasses. You can see distance and all that fine. It's just when I have to read something. But if your eyes are sensitive, sunglasses are good, especially with a hat. Really keeps your eyes from being overtaxed by the sun, especially in the winter when you got a lot of snow out. It's a bright day, really taxes your eyes. And again, you should buy something that's polarized. And a lot of people go and they'll buy some cheap sunglasses. I mean, I suppose they probably make some now that are probably better than they used to be. But you don't want to buy something too flimsy. You want a frame that's fairly solid and doesn't have a lot of flex. And you want something that'll take a little of abuse. I mean, will take being sat on once or twice. Ask me how I know. Or stepped on. That too. Drive over them with a tractor, they're pretty much done. I mean, you leave them sit on the tire and it's like, son of a bitch. After you drive over it. Do that to your phone once or twice. Or a battery charger. So anyways. Like I said, you don't have to go buy the most expensive stuff, but you buy stuff that at least has some good, quality to it. Because you could be out walking, stray dog, better than standing there with nothing at all in your hands. Sometimes these dogs, they could be miles from their house or their farm or whatever, and well, you're out there and he don't like you snooping around. Beats having nothing. That's what I'm saying. You should carry certain things with you. And have quality pieces with you. And it's like shoes. You don't have. I mean, a good pair of boots. Tie type boots. I mean, they will stay on your feet. And the soles are usually better also. I wear like just a cowboy boot with a leather sole from the standpoint. I'll walk through a cow lot, and they're easy to clean off. You just go there in the grass and swipe them a couple times, man, they're clean. Or go up to a fence and hook it on the fence and swipe it off, clean them right off. The other ones have cleats and that kind of stuff. The design that gets pushed up inside there, and they don't clean off very well. I mean, it'll clean off eventually when it dries off and falls off as you're walking, but that's usually what ends up happening. So, in my circumstance, it's better like just a flat leather sole is better. The others have better traction. And like I said, you always got to think about your surroundings, what could be. Take a just like maybe an old coffee can with a lid on it, and throw a couple snack bars in it. Breakfast bars like protein bars, like meal supplement things, and throw yourself in some of those hydration packets. You throw those in there. You know, if it's big enough, you can throw one of those straws in there where you can suck the right out of the stream, out of a puddle. It doesn't even matter. And hell, the little iodine pills, that purify water and stuff, they don't cost nothing. Hell, you could have a little thing of those sitting in there. You know, same thing with some aspirin, some allergy pills. You just don't know. You could have that stuff sitting in this coffee can. So, if you're like, man, I'm hungry, you got some bars in there. You're thirsty, you got some of the packets. Unless you buy the real small things of water that'll fit in there. And then if you buy one of those, then you can fill it. Some guy's got a spigot sitting there, and you ask, "Hey, can I fill it?" No, sure, yeah. Most guys, the farmer, they don't care. You know, but that's what I'm getting at. And let's say it's dirty water. Well, that's why you got your iodine. Your water pills. You take about 30 minutes or so before you should drink it. It'll tell you right on the label. They probably make all kinds of different stuff now. What's nice too is they make those space blankets. They take up no room at all. Hell, they're just. I don't have any sitting there, but you've seen them. They don't take up any room. They're light. They don't take up any room at all. It's always nice to have something like that too. Because you never know. Let's say Florida there. I forget what the hell it was. Something on some interstate or something. They had some flooding, and of course it was backed up, and people are sitting there in that mess. Well, what do? Let's say a car, you run on low on fuel anyway, so you're like, damn, and you run out of gas. You know, my attitude about gas cans is people want to go buy those cheap plastic pieces of junk when you could go buy a real good steel can. Yes, it costs more, but they got rubber seals. They seal up well. They're tough. They can tip over, and I've never had one leak, laying on its side even. And a lot of times you take a bungee cord and you just bungee it in your back of your car, hook it onto something. So a lot of these cars come with these nets in them too, so you can put a net in there. Or get a old milk crate. Put a milk crate in there. And you can put stuff in there. Wouldn't be a bad idea to throw a roll of toilet paper or two in there. That'd be a good idea. Because you never know. Yeah, a little bandage kit. A little. See, I got like little thing like this here. It's just got a couple band-aids in it, and I don't know what the hell, a couple Q-tips. I mean, it's that's all it's made for, just emergency type stuff. I just keep one in the desk here in case I want to throw it in a car or truck or something. But yeah, that's just everyday stuff you should keep. Just in your vehicle. So like I said, you just never know. I mean, as long as your phone stays charged, and then you can go, and you're on a back road, it says, well, go here, turn here, it'll get you out of there. And then a lot of times this GPS stuff is screwy, and it'll take you weird places. So don't come over a hill and expect the road to be there. You don't know. It may not be a road. It may be a drop off, for all you know, or a lake. So, yeah. It's always good to be prepared. That's what I'm getting at here. Because we live in times where a lot of people don't like us in the world. They just don't like us. And it's nothing that you've done or I've done. It's something, the government has done or the previous administrations have done or something. They want to take it out on us. Well, I get that. I mean, I don't look at things like that. I mean, the Chinese people, I have nothing against them. They've done nothing to me. German people, French, it doesn't matter. They've done nothing to me. Now, the governments, on the other hand, that's a whole other story. And that's what people have to remember. But they just dislike us because we're American. It's parts of this world you go into, and if you're a Christian, they'll kill you. If you're an American, they'll kill you. I mean, they just don't like you. Not that you've done anything to them. It's just that's how ignorant they are. And really, that's the only reason I got on here. Is because there's things that are happening that they don't want to talk about, and they're afraid they're going to scare the American public, and everybody will run to the store and buy more toilet paper and water and stab each other. People get crazy. That's why I always said it's just prudent to buy extra stuff and have some extra stuff in your house, so you can weather a storm for a week or 2 or 3. But I mean, to have a grocery store sitting in your basement is like, that's crazy. Okay, I mean, you're kind of fanatical. You know. So yeah, that's all I was really getting at, people. And I've showed you those old things before. Look for them at garage sales or eBay. It's a utensil. I think I got one sitting right over here. See if I can find one here real quick. Like this. See, full size spoon. Pretty nice. Full size fork. Yeah, it's got, of course, it's got your scissors and knife and fish scaler and corkscrew thing. It's pretty much got everything. It's got a hook. You could hook it on. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you get into something that could bust, and then you're like, God damn, where'd I lose that? I know it's pretty big to stick in your pocket, but hey, but look for stuff like that. So it's worth having. garage sales, eBay. This one's old. This is still. Oh, it's made in the USA. I know that, but it's pretty old. I don't even know who. Imperial or somebody like that probably makes it, I think. But yeah, pretty slick. Because I mean, I've got a few of those. Keep one in my truck just because, I go somewhere and it's like I don't like those plastic utensils. I mean, those things are junk. I don't even know why they make them. They're making them. They're more flimsy than ever. And the problem with those plastic utensils is something like this breaks off. You're trying, it fractures or something. When you're trying, and breathe that in or fucking swallow it. Swallow a fucking plastic tine off a. Yeah, you're not gonna like that. That's not gonna be fun. So avoid that at all costs. Okay, you don't want to choke. So anyhow, folks, that's really all I got on here for was to, give you a few ideas on things and so on and so forth. And like these things. Take that off there. These things. They don't melt. There's no chocolate. So and it's it's all pretty good stuff. They're not salted. I'm sure you could buy stuff that is salted. I'd rather have them salted. But, you know, throw a couple of those in your little coffee can. You know, nice little snack. Because the reason I say put in a coffee can is mice are everywhere. And mice will get in your car if they smell food. How many of you have kids? You probably know what I'm talking about. Kids spill stuff all over and gets in the seats and stuff, and next thing you know, you got mice in your car, and you didn't realize you even had them in there until you go to vacuum it out. Then you find the remnants of them. Sometimes you find one dead in the car. You're like, man, this really stinks. This is awful. Well, yeah, because it died under the seat. Ask me how I know. Usually just by farm trucks and stuff, tractors and things. That's why I always clean those things out. Get done with the combine, man, you gotta blow everything off. Pressure wash it, get it all cleaned up, whole 9 yards. Then re-grease it so the water doesn't rust out a bearing or something like that. But that's really the only reason I got on here. Was to go over a few things like that. And if you use reading glasses, man, take another pair of reading glasses and stick it in that can. Because you never know. I mean, I'll put those damn things in my pocket and I'm like, where the hell? Yeah, of course you bend over to pick something up or something, and they're missing. If you're like me, you have a couple pair here, a couple over there. You got one in that. Well, you might have a couple in the truck. One of every vehicle, every tractor's got glasses in it because that's the way it is. And I think I don't know why. This is just farmers. You break the damn glasses, okay, but you keep them. Why? Well, you got screws in the things here, and you got nose pieces here, I mean, and you got a whole side here that might be able to use for another pair. You keep shit because it's just the way it is. It's like old tires. I mean, you wouldn't drive them on the road, but hell, you put them on a wagon. have a tire blow or something like that. Ah, hell, you got an old tire sitting there and slap it on there and you're good to go again. So, folks, that's the only reason I got on here. Is, and you could add to a lot of stuff. You could add to all kinds of things, all right? And like I've always said, too, most people, please too. I'm a firm believer. Autoloaders are for an advanced shooter. An autoloader is. A revolver is for someone that is a novice that is getting into shooting. And guys that do shoot, they understand exactly what I'm saying. And they know why I'm saying it. I mean, everybody thinks you got to have an autoloader because that's what you see on TV. You don't. They can actually be dangerous if you're not proficient with them. See, that's what I'm saying. You got to go out and shoot, learn the gun, learn safety, the whole 9 yards. Because you have a responsibility not only to yourself but everyone else to be safe. I mean, I don't care. Safety comes number one when you're dealing with stuff like that. The police are idiots. Okay? They're idiots. I mean, I'll tell you what, if I was the chief or captain or sheriff, most of them they'd be retrained. And if they still are iffy on it, they'd have a desk job. You know, because it's like, I can't trust you with a weapon out there. You know, you're too damn dangerous. Another thing, too, is you might want to do is get some sunscreen. Throw that in your little can. Because, oh, man, open station tractors, I've got a few, but not very many. It's all cabs and stuff anymore. Hell, even your skidsters are air conditioned and heated. You know, hell, just to mow grass anymore, I had to go out and buy. Well, I didn't have to, but go out and buy a utility tractor with a mower deck under it. You know, of course, it's air conditioned and all that too. Why? Just to mow grass. I mean, unbelievable. But the problem is then, you see, the guys like me, we get, well, we know what it is. It's skin cancer, and you get spots on you, and you know what the hell it is. You've seen it so many times. And that's what I'm saying. Sunscreen's a very important thing. I mean, years ago, what the hell was sunscreen? We didn't know what the hell it was. You know? So, I know there's people out there, they love to get out in the sun and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with it, but man, just pay attention to what you're doing. Be smart about it. You could be a woman, very beautiful, and when you're young, yeah, you got a nice tan and stuff, but then when you get older, it will catch up with you real fast. So you go from being very pretty to one of those double baggers. So I don't have any room to talk, okay? So I'll probably catch that. I'll probably catch some hell over that comment. But anyways, folks, y'all have a good one. I don't know what the hell time it is. It's 8 o'clock over there. A little after 2 in the morning. So it's been a long day. So I'll get maybe I'll get an hour or two of sleep, maybe. Be back up and at her. But like I said, it's been a long day. See, that's why I don't always get on here all the time. Sometimes it's like I got things to do. You know, I don't have all the time in the world to do this stuff. This is why I don't do big presentations. Well, I don't know how to do it in the first place. I mean, I'm sure I could find somebody that knows how to do it. Can I don't know, edit this and put this in and do all this fancy stuff. That ain't how. That's not how it works here. Okay, there's nothing fancy. Okay, this is what you get, man. Low production, the lowest. So I don't write nothing down. I don't read off script. I don't read off nothing. I don't. I just whatever. Whatever you want to call it. Mumble through, muddle through. So hopefully nothing bad happens, but you just never know. It's called life, and you want to be ready for it. So it is what it is. So you want to be prepared somewhat. You are not going to be prepared for every scenario. It is not going to happen. Okay? So prepare the best you can. Be happy with what you've got. Enjoy your life. See, God gave you a life. Say, to worship Him, to praise Him, and to do His will, and to help others. Now, in today's world, you got to be careful on who you're helping, because it may not be what you think. God gave you a gut instinct. Use it. So, got a lot of good people in this country. A lot of good people. I'm a firm believer we have more good people than we do bad. Just like police. Just like government in general. I believe there's more good people in it than there are bad. And it's the bad ones that give it a bad name. So if we can just weed those out, things will hopefully get better. Got a lot of problems, but there's ways to take care of that stuff. And you always try to do it peaceably. Always try to do it peaceably. Our founding fathers, they tried. They tried to voice their grievances. They tried to voice their concerns and such, and it got to the point to where they didn't have a choice. And, well, the rest is history. But you always try to resolve things peaceably first. So, you folks, y'all have a good one.